The Chicago Bulls get their asses kicked by the Toronto Raptors, and hopefully tanking fans everywhere are happy about this and they can stop whining, complaining, bitching, and moaning. Let's hope that happens. The Chicago Bulls lose to the Toronto Raptors 139-109. They were down by 38 at one point in this game. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And man, hey, listen, they definitely made up for that win against the Memphis Grizzlies. Hopefully, like I said, the tanking fans can chill out with this one, go touch some dirt, chill out a little bit, you know, get some coochie, something, because the Bulls lost this one by 30. And that's exactly how this actually was an overall pretty good damn day for the Chicago Bulls in regards to the tanking standings. The Portland Trail Blazers also won 127-119 over the Indiana Pacers, which is really good. The Memphis Grizzlies right now are up by 8 points against the Denver Nuggets. So, you know, that can help kind of overcome some of that winning that we did against them. So that could be a good thing for the Chicago Bulls as well, even though the Bulls are most likely to just stay exactly where they are. They're most likely to stay exactly where they're going to be at. But, you know, losing is something that definitely helps guarantee that. The Bulls create another half-game separation between them and the Milwaukee Bucks as well. Do the Bucks play today? Hold on, give me a second. Let me take a look at that. I don't think that they do. It doesn't look like the Milwaukee Bucks play today. So the Bulls come out of today at least a half game ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks in the tanking standings, at least. The Portland Trail Blazers have moved up to the 9th seed in the Western Conference, with them only being a half game back of the LA Clippers of the 8th seed as well. So hopefully every tanking fan is feeling a little bit good about themselves. Maybe they don't have to throw any hats and cry at this point in time. And, that's what is going to happen when it comes down to it. So, but this is a game where, hey, this performance from everybody today was ass. Everybody was ass cheeks today. They were double caked up on a Wednesday evening, and it was unnecessary. Josh Giddey was 4-13 from the field with only 3 assists, 3 turnovers, and 1 steal. 9 points he scored. This is what I mean. Like, do y'all want Josh Giddey to be putting up stat lines like this every single night? No. Nobody should want that every single night. But that's what happened tonight. Minus Buzelis, 19 points. He leads the Chicago Bulls in scoring, going 6 of 15 from the field with 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. Jalen Smith with 10, Leonard Miller with 13. Good to see Leonard Miller and Rob Dillingham, for what it's worth, put up a game, even though Rob Dillingham put up another big game in garbage time when everything was basically, decided. But you get 13 points, 6 of 9 from the field for Leonard Miller today to go along with 4 rebounds. He didn't register another stat at all, though. You get 14 points from Colin Sexton in his return from injury, and 15 points from Rob Dillingham, who went 7 of 11 from the field for 4 assists, 1 turnover as well from Rob Dillingham. This is a tanking loss. This is what it feels like to lose in a tank. And, this is what a lot of people want to see. Hopefully, like I said, it just shuts up the complaints, because the last 24 hours, I ain't going to lie to y'all, I've never felt so bad after a win, because so many Bulls fans was whining and complaining. It was really like, hey, who tucked y'all balls so bad? Like, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But hey, it is what it is. Vaughn says, I won't lie, I'm not a fan of Nick Richards. I wish Zach Collins could stay healthy, because he's a perfect backup big. Nick Richards, it's the Nick Richards experience, right? So you'll see why Nick Richards, why he only played like 16 minutes in a game like this. I said it as well. I agreed when somebody asked, they were like, well, Haize, what do the Bulls have to gain from playing Nick Richards when they could really just play Lachlan Albrick and get him more time to acclimate to the NBA? And I kind of understand that point. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Nick Richards is going to put up a double-double a lot of nights. And Nick Richards is going to have some nights where the stat line looks really good. But that boy got concrete for hands, man. He got concrete for hands, bro. Concrete for hands. It's bad. It's very bad. Melvin says the Bulls desperately need to find a way to get rid of Pat. Nobody is taking that contract. Nobody is taking that contract at all. That's like offering somebody saying, hey, you want to decide between syphilis or AIDS? Which one do you want? Which one do you want? You want syphilis or do you want AIDS? And they're going to look at you and say, I'm just going to stay at home. I'm just going to actually stay at home. I'm not even going to do nothing. I don't need nothing. I'm just going to stay at home, because that's a hell of a decision. Very hell of a decision. So, it is what it is, man. The Bulls are definitely tanking big time. It's more than tanking. That was ass cheeks is what that was. That was a 12-pack of ass. Reloaded. Refried ass. That's what that was. Dillingham was only bright side, no, he was not. I could tell you didn't actually watch the game. And no offense, I don't mean to offend you with that one, but I'm just saying I could definitely tell you didn't watch the game, because Dillingham was ass for the majority of the game. He had 5 points until like the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's not a bright spot. I don't know what to tell you with that. That's not a bright spot. If that's a bright spot, you live in hell. If that's the bright spot to you, you living in hell with syphilis and HIV at the same time. Because no, and not to knock his game, but that's not a bright spot. Somebody playing it, putting up numbers in garbage time in a 30-point blowout loss, that's not a bright spot, bro. He put up 11 points in the fourth quarter of this game. 11 points out of 15. That's not a bright spot, bro. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you that. That's not a bright spot, G-Money. I need you to watch the full game. That's definitely not a bright spot. How does the Bulls keep Patrick Williams and make the big mistake by trading Iotas? Okay, I need everybody to realize this. People who ask questions like this, realize this. Would you trade for Patrick Williams? If you were another team and somebody said Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, and Kobe White are available, who are you going to trade for? So when you ask questions like, how don't they trade Patrick Williams, but they trade Kobe and Ayo? Because you got to trade good players for anybody to want them. Like, what? Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Don't make the hat come off. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. What up, Haize? World's biggest Giddy stan. Mucho disappointed tonight. Hey, you did just say earlier you're the world's biggest Giddy stan, and it was a bad game. It was definitely a bad game. Dillingham was not the only bright spot. Stop lying, because Modest Buzelis led the Bulls tonight and played so better throughout the game. Like, yeah, saying Dillingham was the bright spot is crazy, bro. It's crazy. I swear he's the truth, as young Modest calls him. He'll bounce back. Modest will be fine. Modest will be fine. You're talking about Giddy. Giddy will be fine too. Like, it's a bad game. Players. I say it was a 12-pack ass because it was, but good players have bad games. The Bulls desperately have to find. I already read that one. James Modest did not play well. He had 19 points, but he couldn't do much. James Modest? By the way, you saw what Ayo said earlier, the difference between how he's coaching Minnesota compared to Billy's coaching is still annoying, as well as seeing CHGO give Billy passes for mid-rosters. Here's the thing, right? And I'll say this. I was disappointed to see how many people used Ayo. And listen, I'm in the Discord that use Ayo Dosunmu's comments to try to give praise to Billy Donovan. I'm sorry. It's not a good coaching to limit a player from something that they're good at. It'd be different if you were limiting a player from something they weren't good at. That's just not the case. Ayo Dosunmu was turning into a really good three-level scorer because of having more opportunity and it being open more for him in Minnesota. I never understood as a team, and I'm not saying that every player on the Chicago Bulls needs to be taking a bunch of mid-range shots. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not even saying that the Bulls need to be taking, a ton of mid-range shots as a team. But last time I checked, I think like less than 8% of the Bulls' shots as a team this season is mid-range shots. That's way too low. That's way too low. So you can't eliminate a whole part of the game and then wonder why it's easy for defenses to guard you, especially defenses like the Toronto Raptors tonight, for example. You can't eliminate that. I'm looking it up to verify. 4% of the Chicago Bulls shots are mid-range shots. That's dead last in the NBA. Dead last in the NBA. And for what it's worth, the Bulls don't shoot bad in the mid-range. So, that's just one of those analytic things. It's just bad, bro. It's just bad. With Sexton being in the top 2 with Laurie and the longest streak of never seeing the playoffs, I have no clue why'd he stay here. Same with Simons. I mean, you got to keep in mind, money is still a big motivator for a lot of people. The Bulls can offer him more money than anybody else. And for some players, at some point, they're just like, oh, well, I'm not going to. Like, Simons is different. Simons got a taste of it being in Boston, and he's already said, like, how different it was for him to be on a winning team. But, it is what it is. Young Modest as a nickname for Modest, that is. I know you previously stated you don't really like the whole Little Boozy Vert moniker. I hate the Little Boozy Vert. I think that's the laziest nickname Stacey King has ever come up with. And all respect to Stacey King. Like, no disrespect to Stacey King on that. It's a lazy nickname. Billy got outcoached in this game. He just don't run plays for our key players. Listen, this is why I say what I say about Billy Donovan. How can you close the gap now? There's a long way to go from playoff teams right now. I mean, you got to have a good offseason. We've seen teams close the gap in one offseason before. If AK's smart, he'll find a way to do it. We'll see how motivated he is. Yeah, I checked the box score. I didn't watch the game. See, I knew it. And no offense to you. Hopefully you took that in fun. Toronto's so well coached defensively, never gets cross-matched in transition. Rotations are crisp and always hounding with pressure when the opponent has the ball. I mean, that's the benefit of the length that Toronto Raptors have. They have basically really good length and size at every position. Every position. I hope Leonard Miller keeps getting minutes. Hey, he should. I mean, there's no reason why Leonard Miller should not be getting minutes between now and the end of the season. None. Man, we really are far from being serious. It's a long road up. We'll see. Honestly, it's time for Billy to go. Not that I think it'll happen, but the IO comments just makes me feel like Billy is going to hold Modest back. I can't blame you for feeling that way after those comments. Games like these are just deflating. If we lost by 10, I wouldn't feel as bad. We're a tanking team. Listen, just like we don't get too far up on wins at this point of the season because of where we are, don't get too far down on losses either, to just be honest with you, bro. Like, it is what it is. At this point, the Bulls are just dealing with the season as they're dealing with it, bro. Just curious, would you prefer a Mo Wagner or Jock Landale in free agency as a backup instead of Collins or Richards? Ooh. Both of them. Mo Wagner is probably going to be very expensive. Jock Landale, listen, he's really not that different from Zach Collins, to be honest with you. So probably Jock Landale, if he can stay healthier. I don't think Landale is that different from Zach Collins, stylistically, I mean. So it's time for Billy to go, but we can feel whatever we want. It sucks AK lives in a different world from the rest of us in most of his decisions. That's the way I describe AK all the time. AK sees the world very differently than what most people see it as. And, loyalty is a big thing there with Billy Donovan. They talked about the collaborative nature between Billy Donovan and the front office and that relationship that they have. They value that. And that's going to be things that keep, like, I've said this multiple times, and this is not me saying that this is my endorsement. This is just what I realize about this team. Billy Donovan is probably going to be the Bulls head coach until he decides to not be the Bulls head coach. That's really probably what's going to happen. And, it sucks because it's like you have loyalty to a coach that ain't done shit for you. Like, and that's not, and again, I will be clear here all the time. And some people get mad when I say this. Billy Donovan is not a horrible head coach. He's not horrible, but he's not a great head coach. And here's what I'll say this too. Just because you're a good head coach or a decent head coach, it doesn't mean that you're good for every team and every roster construction and in every situation. It's just like you can be a good person but a terrible partner in a relationship. That's kind of what it is. Do I think Billy Donovan's a good dude? Yeah, I do. I think Billy Donovan's a good dude. I think Billy Donovan does care about his players. I think his players like him for the most part. I think all those things are true about Billy Donovan. But at some point, it has to be about the results. There is a point where the relationship matters and that type of thing matters. The personality matters. There is a point of that. But at some point, you have to get to a point where it's all about the results. And that's with players, that's with coaches, that's with GMs, that's with presidents, that's with everybody. And when you look at the results of what Billy Donovan, regardless of the roster and whatever else, you can't keep rewarding the coach for losing season after losing season. And I said this, AK's either going to have to dig 2 graves or he's going to eventually have to fire Billy Donovan and try to save himself a little bit. And it may be too late for that. And, the bed may already be made in that case. So, Outside of you and Bull Central, it's just so annoying how Billy Donovan gets passes from these other Chicago media. David Cap, CHGO, and others give him excuses. He's part of the problem even in OKC. He's definitely part of the problem. He's definitely part of the problem. This was the perfect game to run more plays for Modest and Giddey, like Stacey King said, but Billy Donovan is such a weird coach. I mean, I just talked about the collaborative effort. This could have been Billy Donovan coaching to a tank. Like, I mean, and I'm not trying to excuse it, right? Like I said, Billy Donovan, Billy, I have no reason to try to save Billy Donovan, but this could very well be Billy Donovan realizing the call from up top. And it could be like, all right, well, let me manipulate this a little bit the best way I can. Could be. Right? Now, I'm not saying that should necessarily save his job or save him from criticism or anything like that, but that just could be the reality of what tonight was. So you got to look at it that way too. In random other news, Kobe White has been hooping. We had no doubt that Kobe White, once he got healthy, was going to hoop. Like, say what you will. I know people like to shit on Kobe White and all that type of stuff. Kobe White, when he's healthy, is a hooper. And that's just the reality of it. Kobe White is an absolute hooper. And, some of that's going to come with some streakiness at times from Kobe White. It's going to happen. It is what it is. But, last night he had, 24 points, going 8 of 15 from the field, 53% from the field overall, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Like, hey, Kobe White's hooping, bro. And don't forget, Kobe White is a free agent at the end of this year. Whether he stays with Charlotte or not, he's going to want to get those numbers up. Hope we can make a good 2 to 3 free agents this offseason because I know we're far from contender, but hope these free agent signings can help to make us better in a few areas. Hopefully. Do you see Billy go to an assistant GM or front office role? His record with the franchise is horrible. I mean, I've always kind of speculated to that. Vaughn would tell you, somebody who's been around for a while. I think that Billy is eventually going to go. If he'll have the opportunity to go to front office. It'll be very much like Paxton, like Doug Collins. Doug Collins, who was on payroll up until like last year. John Paxton's still on payroll as of right now. It'll be something like that. Bulls are super headed in the right direction. Size, physicality, defense. We have the finesse. Okay. Their loyalty to mid and everything is insane. AK first said he wants to bring championships to Chicago, and he really hasn't shown to be super serious about it. Feels like lip service mostly. You can't argue with the results. Like, there's nothing I can say to that because when you look at the results, you're absolutely right. I didn't actually watch the game, just check the box score. Did Rob Dillingham play as well as his stats say, despite the Bulls getting destroyed? Obviously. No, 11 of his points came in garbage time. 11 of his 15 points came in garbage time. Now, like I said before, though, I want to be clear here. With Rob Dillingham, confidence was a big thing of the problem with him. So even in those games, him getting those reps is helping his confidence get up. But the game itself wasn't as good as the box score would tell you because so much of it did come in garbage time. And that's just me being honest, right? Sorry, I'm overexcited and keep pressing send by accident before I'm done composing. Sorry, Haize, didn't think Dill Prime is. Oh, no, you're good, bro. You're good. Billy have to go, bro. I'm still in shock that Detroit organization passed up Chicago. You shouldn't. The writing was on the wall there. Billy gets an extra pass for being Joe. No, he does not. You got to keep in mind, this front office has no attachment to Joakim Noah. They didn't draft him. He never played for them. Nothing. None of that. Do you think the Bulls can trade several of their second, first-round picks for Yves Missy? I think that would be a good use of assets. It seems like the Pelicans are stuck on a first-round pick for Yves Missy. So, per the information that we know, I'll say no to that. But maybe that changes in the offseason because it seemed like nobody was willing to offer unprotected first for Yves Missy. I trust Billy in the front office, but can we get Chris Quinn in here, please? I'd be excited to see what he does with Chris Quinn. Chris Quinn is the guy that if we replace Billy Donovan, I've wanted Chris Quinn to be the guy to replace him for a long time. I do not believe in Rob Dillingham at all higher level. Best case scenario, we inflate his value with empty stats and maybe package him for a good role player. That's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. It's not going to happen. Rob Dillingham would have to have at least a quarter season of meaningfully good basketball if you're going to dump him off to a team. Nobody's looking at this stretch by the Chicago Bulls and Rob Dillingham playing decently well. Nobody's going to look at that and be like, yeah, let me get that over on this team. He'd have to start off next season in an actual role and be playing well before I think that would happen. My personal opinion. I would be okay with a strong draft pick, signing Io, and we're not getting Io. I need everybody to drop this, re-signing Io to come. Io DeSumo is not coming back to the Chicago Bulls. I need everybody to get off of that. He is not coming back to the Chicago Bulls. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. So, chill. I mean, their second rounder this year and another one or two for Missy. We'll see. I don't think it'll get it done, but hey, if AK, and I'm still not sold on Yves Missy being a starting caliber center. Like Yves Missy's a solid center. Make no mistake about it. But I'm still haven't seen enough to tell me that he can be your starting center of the future. My personal opinion. Is at some point our front office is going to have to realize that BD is not the guy to be coaching the Bulls if we want to take the next step. Listen, bro, me and you can talk about it. We can talk about it. Jesus Levante Christ can talk about it. But until AK Vladimir Putin decides to wake up himself on it, ain't nothing going to happen with it. There's nothing that's going to happen with it. We can't sign any player we traded into a year. That's not true at all, Caden. That's not true at all. I don't. Where did you get that at? That's not remotely true. Like, technically, the Bulls could have reflipped him at the trade deadline if they wanted to. They can trade him this offseason. You don't have to wait a year after you trade for somebody, bro. That's not true at all. Again, I'm not trying to come at you left about it, but that's that. I don't know where you got that from. That's not true. That's not true. The only way that happens is I think what you're confusing. I think you're confusing if the Minnesota Timberwolves bought him out. That's what would happen. That he didn't get bought out, his contract expired. So they can sign him this offseason. They would be able to sign Io this offseason. He's just not going to come back here. Trust me, if Io wins the championship, it's over. Winning players go to winning teams. That's not all the time true. Alex Caruso came here after winning a title. Glad we have all these second-round picks. No one wants. Shaking my head. Good job, AK. I mean, I wouldn't say that nobody wants the second-round picks. You just have to add them to something, right? So, like, if the Bulls wanted to move, let's say, their first-round pick this year for an actual player and include a bunch of second-round picks to inflate that, you could do something like that. As far as the draft, if we fall out of the top 5, do we go shoot? Oh, we're not going to be in the top 5. And keep in mind, it's the top 4. We can only be in the top 4. Or we're going to stay at 9 or 10. So I think they're going to take best player available. Yeah, I confused that. I wonder how often teams do that. Not often, I imagine. Yeah, it used to be more common. That's why they created the rule, because it used to be all the time that a team would trade a player that with an expiring deal to a team, that team would buy them out. Like, because I think the last time it happened, it was the Lakers, one of the last teams that did. So what used to happen is that a team would trade a player to a team, include cash. The cash would basically almost cover the buyout. They would then buy out that player, and then they'll go back to the team that they were traded from. That's why the rule came. So, but all right, y'all, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I'm not going to do a whole 35-minute, 40-minute post-game show on a fucking 30-point loss. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in, even after this blowout loss, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. Damn it, looks like the Grizzlies – oh, no, we want the Grizzlies to win. Looks like the Grizzlies are going to win over Denver. They're up by 9 right now with 1 minute left. So let's hope they hold out for that one. But make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace. Uh-oh.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.